Support for Sports Page is provided by the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jennies emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower floor of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and WarrensburgRadio.com. 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and WarrensburgRadio.com, the radio home of UCM Athletics.
Coming up next on Sports Page, Mules football coach Jim Svoboda stops by. He'll talk about an impressive homecoming win over Northeastern State in this Saturday's showdown in Kearney, Nebraska with the UNK Lopers. Mules basketball's won back-to-back conference titles, and this Friday, the Mules open the exhibition portion of their season in Columbia facing the Missouri Tigers. We'll preview hoops with Mules head coach Kim Anderson tonight. In our Sports Page Spotlights, we'll meet Zach Gebhardt, the reigning MIAA Special Teams Player of the Week, and we'll show you the highlights from the tip-off event to Mules and Jennies basketball held on Tuesday night. All of that and more is straight ahead on this week's edition of the UCM Sports Page. Hello again, everybody, and thanks for watching the University of Central Missouri Sports Page. I'm Sean Jones, and joining me to kick off the show is Mules football coach Jim Svoboda. Coach Svoboda, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Sean.
Well, we remarked last week on the show that in order for homecoming to be a true success, the football team needed to do their part, and your guys did that in a big way.
Yeah, they were really ready to play, and we got off to a fast start, and all phases really played well, executed well. It was really gratifying to see how these guys have bounced back from some adversity this year.
51-7 homecoming win, and in the victory, your team put all kinds of dents in the record book. I would say your most complete performance in quite some time.
Yeah, really balanced on offense, and we had the special teams player of the week, we had the defensive player of the week, and offensively we put up big numbers. So you're right, everybody chipped in.
Second week in a row, over 600 yards of total offense, 374 rushing yards as well. Both of those numbers seventh best in a single game in school history. All of a sudden, your Mules are running for huge numbers, which I think is not only a testament to your running backs, several of them, but an offensive line, a young group that's really started to gel.
Yeah, Coach McClung's done a really good job with those guys. We've had to be patient too, and that's not really my strong suit. Because I know that ultimately you got to score points in this game, and sometimes you get impatient, and we've done a better job being patient and developing that run game, and those are pretty good numbers. You're gonna, if you rush for 374 yards, you're gonna win most of the games you play.
And 275 the week before that, so some big totals in the run game all of a sudden for the Mules. And really going back to last week, your team has played at a really high level the last 8 quarters. As I went back over the last 2 games, not really any lulls or drop-offs at all.
Not at all, and it goes back to how they've practiced and just the enthusiasm and mentality towards getting a lot done in their preparation for each game, and very gratifying as a coach.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights from homecoming 2013 at the University of Central Missouri. Great moments was the theme of homecoming. As we take a look at the highlights, it was a beautiful Saturday at Walton Stadium, Kennedy Field, on the UCM campus as the Mules hosted the Riverhawks of Northeastern State. There come the Mules out of the tunnel, and a lot better weather this year for homecoming than 2012, Coach.
That's for sure. We're getting that weather right now, actually.
Yeah, no kidding. This week's been a dreary one, but a beautiful day for football. And, boy, your team marched right down the field. There it is, heavy dose of Levance Taylor, 16 yards, takes it to the end zone, and really a tone-setting drive to start the game.
It was, because we threw the ball one time on that drive, so it did set the tone with the offensive line.
Yeah, rushed for a bunch of yards, 1:06 for the score, and led 7-0, and then the defense comes out, and they set the tone as well. Look at them stuff the run. They were just sterling on defense in the pass game, as you see Paul Hughes knock it away, in the run game as well.
Yeah, they got off to a good start, too, and they were swarming around. I think they had 76 yards or something at halftime.
And 7 sacks for the UCM defense. We'll talk about that a little bit more. One of the best totals in school history for a single game. There's Hayden Hawk, the junior from Coppell, Texas, directing a little traffic. And something he's shown the ability to do very well of late, Coach, is pick up those first downs on his feet.
Yeah, he's got a knack for that, and to sit in there till the last second takes a lot of courage and just good instincts.
That was a 33-yard field goal by Zach Gebhardt. That was not easy. That was into a stiff breeze out of the north.
Yeah, he was really stellar kicking the ball, kickoffs, punts, the whole thing.
And there's the defense, one of the 7 sacks on the day, 6th best in single game history for Mules football. And there's one of about 4 or 5 guys that ran the ball well for you Saturday. Ray Harris showing some impressive moves.
Yeah, those guys are competing with each other, and so, you know, it's a real advantage to keep them fresh.
How about Tristan McClellan bouncing off would-be tacklers there for the touchdown?
Yeah, that was a physical run after the catch that you'd expect out of that kid.
17-0, the Mules with the lead. This is still in the first quarter, as you see. A tremendous start to the game for UCM, and now there's another sack, and boy, your D-line. Your D-line was just all over Thorlong, the quarterback for Northeastern State.
Yeah, it's good to see. They really made a jump in terms of their productivity, and anytime you can pressure the quarterback with just 4 guys, it's an advantage.
And there you see the Mules throwing it down the field, and Hayden gets rid of it. Fools the cameraman on the play action. Ron Ree Lloyd there, 23 yards. And Ron Ree helps put the Mules up after the extra point, 24-0. And Ron Ree's just having a record-setting season.
Yeah, he's having a great year. He's really been our go-to guy, but we still have the ability to spread it around, which is nice.
So the Riverhawks want to get on the board before the half, but Tevin Teamer, the redshirt freshman, says, no, sir, that's quite a hit.
Yeah, he was, boy, for a redshirt freshman, is really coming on.
And there you see Anthony Kirkwood, who made some great plays for the Mules out there on a bubble screen, and now Hayden directs traffic. And this ball's tipped up into the air and intercepted. You know, we've talked so much about his accuracy. Hayden didn't have a big numbers day, but you still had 600 yards of offense, which shows you how well the rest of the team picked him up and played well.
Yeah, it was pretty balanced. We'd have to check that record book again as far as back-to-back 600-yard games.
Yeah, again, the Mules with back-to-back 600-yard games, and 2 of the top 10 performances in school history in total offense. And there's another ball that's batted up into the air. But how about Anthony Kirkwood? We're going to get to see this again. Watch the circle. This is tremendous, Coach.
Yeah, he was just good awareness, you know, and that was a good break for us, and then we took advantage of it.
Mules did take advantage of that, and taking advantage of getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback for Northeastern State. Again, really a dominating performance for the Mules. 27-0. There is the score in the third, and then the Mules come out of the halftime locker room. The long break, Coach, and get another field goal to make it 30-0. That's a long halftime, but your guys were doing well at the break and continue to do well in the second half.
Always good to score in that first drive or get a stop if you're on defense.
Pretty appropriate, the defense, and Zach Quinas get the defensive touchdown there. That's his 2nd pick 6 of the year, his 3rd interception of the year, and ironically, Thorlong was being sacked, but you'll take the touchdown.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't hurt to get those offensive numbers up by the defense chipping.
And it's 44-0 Mules. And really the great thing, Boda, at this point is you got to play a lot of guys who have earned a lot of playing time. This only score for Northeastern State, as a matter of fact, coming with 8:28 left in the game. You've got your 3s and 4s in the ballgame, which is great, giving them an opportunity to play.
No doubt. Those kids, you know, everybody works hard in practice, and it's just, and you do it for one reason, and that's to eventually play. And so they took advantage of it.
These guys aren't bad players, though. We're talking about a lot of young talent. There's Kellen Kemp from out of Boonville in the KMOS viewing area. We also had a touchdown from Evan Campbell, and we saw Garrett Fugate, the redshirt freshman, 6'3", 210 at quarterback, rolling there. As another little stat from this game is the Mules forced 9 punts. They do not have to punt in the game, but the numbers are impressive. Zach Gebhardt, 5 touchbacks, 3 for 3 on field goals, 6 of 6 extra points. 5th in school history for a single game scoring by a kicker. MIAA Special Teams Player of the Week for the Whirlwind from Archie. Redshirt freshman defensive end Josh Powell from Columbia in our viewing area. And Rockbridge High, he had 3 sacks, 6th most in UCM single game history. The redshirt freshman from Columbia now leads the conference in sacks. He was the MIAA Defensive Player of the Week. Levance Taylor from Raytown, 137 rushing yards. Mules 4-4, 3-4 in the MIAA. And Coach, it is awesome when you can spread those superlatives around. A lot of great things there by a lot of great players. And let's just talk about Josh Powell for a minute. This is a redshirt freshman. You told me this summer, this kid is a physical specimen. He is going to impress you. And he's just gone like this the entire season.
Yeah, you know, it's not really a surprise when you see how he's developed in the last 12 months or so. And he was just a 220-pound kid coming out of high school, a lot of athleticism, never really had a serious weight program. And you don't know, that it's going to be to that extent, but he's already really made a lot of records on our, off-season strength stuff, so it's impressive.
Been fun to see these young guys continuing to get better. Garrett Fugate raised his eyebrows when he comes in at quarterback. Now, right now at 6'3", 210, he's kind of a bull in a china closet out there, but he's a bull running over people in that china closet.
Well, we got a lot of read plays in when he's at quarterback, and he doesn't read it all the time because he likes to keep it and run it. So.
He just run over people.
Yeah, he does. He's an impressive kid. As you can see, we have a lot of depth. That was my intention when I took this job 4 years ago, was to recruit the high school kids. And so when there wasn't much of a drop off there, and granted it was towards the end of the game, but those were impressive kids.
Evan Campbell, this kid from Kansas City Staley, wow, he stays balanced, he can cut. He has not had a negative run all season.
Great balance, and comes from an outstanding high school program, so he's gone against good competition. And again, we got 3 guys that you can just put them in a bag right now, and you get good results.
A lot of fun too, and I know you're pleased with Josh Lamberson, your offensive staff. A lot of balance right now on offense, and when you guys can be balanced with your outstanding passing game, it makes you tough to defend. Yeah,
and that's always our ambition, is to at least have. It doesn't really matter which ones. It just so happens that from a talent standpoint and from an offensive line standpoint, we've thrown the ball more. That hasn't always been the case with my offenses, and so now you're probably seeing a little bit more of what it can be like when we're at our best.
Back to 500 now on the season, winners of 2 straight. The last 2 weeks, you also will face 2 teams playing well of late, but you've put yourselves in a position at least to end this season on a really high note.
We have, and that's what I talk to the kids about. You can get on a roll at any time. They've obviously done that, and they continue to practice well, and so I expect good things out of these kids. Playing together as good as any team I've seen, especially through the adversity we've had this year.
Yeah, and the best news, and I think we've kind of hit on this in general, we're seeing the young guys now become veterans. We're seeing the inexperienced guys become experienced. I'll be honest, I wish we could have played some of these teams earlier in the year, some of these confidence-building teams, but we can't, and we don't get to make the schedule, and it is what it is. But, man, these guys are starting to figure it out. The light bulb's starting to go off out there, and it's pretty clear as you watch it.
Well, I'm glad you noticed it, and I think most of those fans probably noticed it, and that's why they keep coming to watch these kids play, because they do play inspired football. They never take a down off, and eventually you're going to get the results you're looking for, and I'm just grateful that they've maintained their attitude and their enthusiasm for the game throughout this whole thing.
I'm excited about this game coming up Saturday at noon in Kearney, Nebraska. I think this is a real litmus test for our program and the Mules development with these young kids going out to Kearney. UNK is a team that right now is running the ball about 60 times a game. They average 6'4", 300 pounds on the O-line. Kind of what you'd expect out there in West Central Nebraska. Big, strong kids playing a physical brand of football. And so they're going to test our O&D lines that we've been bragging on tonight for getting better, because they're going to just try to take it 4 yards at a time.
Yeah, and 60 times a game, that's a lot of rushes. And so, we anticipate them trying to control the clock that way. And we've seen a few other teams attempt to do that against us. And we just got to, we got to get them off the field and take advantage of the opportunities that we get offensively. And,
I know, again, we said this last week, each season is its own entity. But when you have 4- and 5-year guys, they remember the good and the bad from the previous year. And last year, let's be honest, UNK just ran us over. They just steamrolled us. We're a more physical team and ran for over 300 yards, and we ran for negative yards. And I know you got a lot of guys that remember that and want to prove, again, like they did last week in the homecoming game, that this is a much different team heading in a much different direction down the stretch.
Well, we've really put the focus on us and, how we're performing and, making improvements and rising to our own standard. And so, they've really done that, and that'll be the approach this week.
Zach Gebhardt is our spotlight tonight as we take a look noon there in Kearney. We'll have it for you. 10:40 a.m. airtime on Coco 98.5, the Bart, and WarrensburgRadio.com. Bill and Greg will get you started. I'll be on my way to Kearney from Columbia, Missouri Friday night, but I will be there in time for that noon kick. I'm glad they're playing early because we get home earlier, but man, that's going to make for a tough turnaround from
Well,
Columbia to
yeah.
Kearney. We'll get it done.
I don't envy you guys this time of year with all the sports going on at the same time.
Hey, that's why we love it. You know, it's not work. It's fun to do, and we're looking forward to the weekend and all the exciting things. I mentioned Zach Gebhardt. You talk about you guys and your busy time once the season's over in recruiting. Let's be honest. Zach, the senior from Archie, it's going to take probably 3 guys to replace what he's doing for you right now. 65 career touchbacks, I believe. Outstanding kicker, and now an outstanding punter, too.
Yeah, he's come up big time for us. And again, no surprise. He's a kid that has really devoted himself to you know, developing in the weight room that a lot of kickers don't do sometimes, and just been a mule through and through and hung in there, and his folks love it and been very supportive, and so it's good to see him have some success.
And I'll tell you, the special teams for the Mules have gotten a whole lot better. One of the things that they're outstanding in right now is kick coverage. I believe we're leading the league in kick coverage right now. And let's be honest, the guys running down the field are doing a nice job, but when Zach's kicking it through the back of the end zone, that makes kick coverage a whole lot easier.
It does, absolutely. And then also when you can get some hang time and get your coverage guys down there, but makes a big difference in field position, no question.
A lot of hidden yardage in there in the kicking game in there with the kicker's ability to put the ball through the back of the end zone or to launch it over an outstanding punt returner's head or angle it out of bounds. That's the hidden yardage in the game.
No doubt about it, and we've really had that advantage the last 2 weeks, big time.
Kind of fun, isn't it, that this team has battled back and are still having fun heading into week 9 of the season. I think it tells you a lot about the character of the kids in this program.
It does. Obviously they played well all year long. They've had some disappointments, but to play like we have the last couple of weeks, now granted the records of those teams are not good, but you know, we dominated those games too. And so if you're really struggling from an identity standpoint and those kinds of things, you probably struggle in those games too, and we didn't.
You know, I think the thing that fans are saying is they like this group. This is a great group. They know we're probably a handful, half dozen players away from being elite. Now, whether that means those kids are waiting in the wings as redshirt freshmen or it'll be part of the recruiting process, that's up to you and your coaching staff. But I think everybody has the feeling that this thing's about to go this way next season. Not that it's bad this season, but a chance maybe at a special year in 2013.
Well, that's why we're all here, to do special things, and you know, we have a plan. It probably hasn't come to fruition as fast as I would have liked it to, but you know, we're building it the right way with good kids, solid kids, high school kids, long-term plans for the program, and you know, we believe that it's going to eventually pay big dividends, and I think you're seeing great signs of that right now.
Thanks for the visit. I'll see you in Kearney on Saturday.
Thanks, Sean.
Coming up next, we'll shine the Student Athlete Spotlight on senior kicker Zach Gebhardt next, right here on Sports Page. And welcome back to Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. In this segment, we shine the UCM Student Athlete Spotlight on Mules senior kicker Zach Gebhardt.
Started football a little late. I didn't start till I was in 5th grade, and I've been just playing ever since. I'm not a soccer player, so it's a little different being a kicker. Most kickers have a soccer background, but just one day at practice started kicking, and just I guess I was good enough at it. They had me be the kicker on the team, and just ever since just been trying to get better and better at it, and got a scholarship to go here at University of Central Missouri, and just happy I'd started kicking. When I was younger, I actually didn't want to play football. My uncle sort of actually made me play, and I'm pretty grateful for that, because if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have been able to play football through high school and got a scholarship to play here. So I'm grateful he I guess forced me to play football, but eventually it turned into my favorite sport, and I'm just happy I got the opportunity to play college football. I came to UCM because the school is pretty close. I'm nearby, about an hour away. The football program is a good program. The school is a good school as well. I'm a business major, And it was definitely a priority of mine to go to a school that had a good program for my major. And I just wanted to basically be close by, and I just liked the way UCM felt, and it was a good fit for me. The relationship with the other kicker and punters, during practice we hang out the whole entire time, so we're always around each other. They're always helping me out, little things, technique-wise. So I give them a lot of credit to make sure I'm keeping good form and hitting the ball right, and so they definitely help me out. The other guys on the special teams units, they're great, they're supportive, just always helping me out, covering, getting down the field, covering kicks, and blocking for me. So it's definitely a great relationship. Relationship with coaches is good. We have a great coaching staff. Always working with special teams coach, Coach Westfall, and Coach McClung. He's in charge of PAT and field goals, and Coach Boda. They're very supportive and help me out any way I can, and I'm actually really grateful for the coaching staff we do have. Our team this year, we started off a little rough. We had a tough schedule, had a few close games that we fell short in, but right now we're playing some great football, finally getting it together, winning. We got 2 more games. Hopefully we can end the season on a good note and potentially have some postseason aspirations. But we're just playing together as a team now, and we're looking real good, and I just hope we end the season off right. Goals this year was definitely to have a great season kicking field goals and PATs. This is the first year I've actually been the field goal guy and kickoffs, so I was definitely, one of my goals is to definitely be all conference, or just be the best kicker I could be kicking field goals, PATs to help my team out, putting points on the board. Started punting this year, which is sort of a surprise, so I've been just trying to work as much as I can to help the team out, because punting is definitely a big part of special teams. And basically the goals, just individual goals definitely come second to the team goals. Just want to have a great season and get as many wins as possible and help the team out. I definitely have a routine before I do everything. I stretch the same before every game, get ready the same in the locker room. Before every kick, I do the same thing. So I could say I'm a little superstitious. I just have a routine I do every time, so I just feel ready to, when I get on the field, to kick and perform at my best. I'm a business finance major. I'll be graduating this December. I'm looking for a job currently. I want to get into the investment field, investment banking, something towards that. Hopefully once I graduate, I attain a job and I can just start pursuing my career after football. I do want to give some credit to my field goal and PAT unit, my holder, snapper. If it wasn't for them guys, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. They don't get a lot of recognition. It's mainly focused on me, but I couldn't be able to kick and be successful without them.
The senior from Archie was named the MIAA Special Teams Player of the Week after recording 5 touchbacks and scoring 15 points in the Mules' 51-7 homecoming win over Northeastern State last Saturday. He is Mr. Everything in the kicking game right now for the Mules, with 62 career touchbacks to his credit and 16 punts in his senior season, averaging a very impressive 42 yards per punt. It may take 3 players to replace Zach in 2014, but for now, the Mules are enjoying all the kicking talents the Archie Whirlwind brings to the field. Coming up next on Sports Page, we'll take a look back at how Central Missouri's fall sports teams performed this past week, and we'll preview the upcoming Mules basketball season with head coach Kim Anderson. All of that's on the way when Sports Page continues right after this. And once again, thanks for watching Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Coming up in just a moment, we'll visit with Mules basketball coach Kim Anderson. But first, let's take a look at how the Mules and Jennies performed this past week. And we start with the 5th-ranked Jennies volleyball team. They hit the road on Tuesday night, traveling to Joplin to take on Missouri Southern. The Gens cruised to a 3-0 win over the Lions. Taylor Goodness had 13 kills, hitting .450 in the process with the win. The Jennies are 23-1 overall, 9-1 and leading the MIAA. The Jennies soccer team claimed at least a share of their 4th straight MIAA championship last weekend. On Thursday night, the Gens beat Missouri Western 3-0 at South Rec, and thanks to a little help, the Gens headed into their senior night match with Northwest on homecoming Saturday, knowing a win would give them their 6th conference title in the last 7 seasons and their 4th in a row. With all that incentive, the Jennies rolled to a 5-0 win over Northwest. On senior night, senior Carly Stanley became the all-time assist leader in school history, breaking the mark set by her former teammate, now graduate assistant coach, Kayla Shane. Senior Jessica Grinstaff was named the MIAA Goalkeeper of the Week for the 2nd week in a row as the 2013 MIAA champs improved their record to 12-2-2 overall, 8-1-1 in the MIAA. And Mules Cross Country won the first of 2 MIAA titles for UCM Sports last Saturday as they edged out Missouri Southern 57-56 to claim their 3rd MIAA championship in the last 4 years. Lavin Cialo finished 2nd, Tyler Stuber 3rd, Adam Treadway in 8th to pack it in and earn all conference honors and help the Mules get that 1-point win. The 11th-ranked Mules edging out Missouri Southern thanks to those 3 top 8 finishes, and Kirk Peterson was named the MIAA Coach of the Year. The Jennies finished in 5th place at the conference meet in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Megan Clayman finished in 6th to earn all MIAA honors to pace the Jennies. Mules basketball has won back-to-back MIAA titles, but it is a new group getting set for the 2013-2014 campaign. 10 brand new players, just 1 returning starter will get off the bus Friday at Mizzou Arena as the Mules open exhibition play against the Missouri Tigers Friday night at 7:35 p.m. a game you can hear on the UCM Sports Radio Network. Joining us now to preview his 12th season at the helm of Mules basketball is head coach Kim Anderson. Coach A, welcome back.
Sean, good to be back. Good to be back.
Did I make you nervous? Getting off the bus with 10 new players at Mizzou?
Everybody gives those percentages. You got this percentage of scoring gone and this percentage of rebounding gone. It's a pretty high percentage, so we definitely have a bunch of new guys.
Yeah, I think it's pretty appropriate. This is your first appearance on a new look sports page in HD with the new graphics, and you're here to talk about a new Mules basketball team. How has the first couple weeks gone with the group?
It's been good. I think we've had some up and down moments. There have been days when I've been really excited about this group, and then there have been some times when I think it's been a little bit frustrating. But anytime you add 10 new guys and combine them with 5 guys, 2 of which played a little bit last year, played double-figure minutes, it's going to be rough, I think. But the guys have done well. They've worked hard. They trained well in the preseason. We've been able to put some stuff in that we want to try to do. But this is going to be a building deal. We're not probably where we want to be as far as things we want to do offensively or defensively. But it doesn't matter because tomorrow night we're going to play a game and then again on Monday.
And I think it's interesting. Let's go back to last March when we went to Mankato, Minnesota for the 6th NCAA tournament of your tenure and our first in the Central region. You had built teams for the South Central region. Now all of a sudden we're in the Central region with teams from Minnesota and Nebraska and the Dakotas and of course some teams from Arkansas and Oklahoma as well. You mentioned after losing 8 seniors last year, you wanted to build this team to be a team that could win the Central region, which is a little bit different than the teams you had that won the South Central region.
Well, it is. I think when you get into the Minnesota and South Dakota and some of those areas, their Division II schools. There's only one Division I team, and that's University of Minnesota in Minnesota. So. Their programs are built by and large with high school players, with a sprinkling of transfers and junior college players. And I felt like that when we played up there last year, and when we played a couple of those teams during the year, that I felt like we needed to develop some continuity in our program. And believe me, I'm not getting away with what made us good with the junior college players and transfers. We'll still do that. But I really felt like we needed to add some younger kids so that we have a year by year people coming back, and we don't have to recruit 10 guys in a year. I mean that that happened because of some injuries that happened 2 or 3 years ago, and everybody ended up in the same class. But I just felt like we needed to try to do that, and we've done that. Now we'll see how it plays out.
A lot of new faces until mid-December, really, when Chuck Hammer rejoins the team due to the 10-semester rule. You've only got 2 players that played significant minutes last year. John Gillum from Paris out of Moberly Community College, Ryan Modjosh from up in Johnson County, Kansas. You're counting on those guys for a whole lot because those are the only 2 guys that are back right now that played last year.
Well, those 2 guys have got some experience. They didn't play big minutes. John played more toward the end of the year. Ryan was pretty consistent during the year. Both are good shooters. You know, John's a very, very tough player, plays with a great deal of emotion. Ryan does too. But I think the main thing those guys need to bring us, along with Preston Bruns, who sat out last year, but who'll be a junior, and Joe Davis, who's been in our program 2 or 3 years as a walk-on. They got to bring us some leadership, and you know, they got to keep reminding these guys what it takes to play at this level. You know, the biggest difficulty I think for young kids is they come from high school and they come to this level, or they come from NAIA school, or they come from junior college, or you know, maybe they transfer in. You know, I've always said this is Division I. We're just playing in Division II. And so the intensity level and the competition, I think, is something that they have to get used to doing.
For the folks watching tonight in the Magic City of Moberly, Missouri, whether they're a Greyhound or a Spartan fan, Warrensburg is the place to be this winter to watch some hoops involving folks from Moberly. You've got Nate Johnson as an assistant who played for the Greyhounds, and then we've got a whole lot of former Greyhounds and one former Spartan in the program this year. And those guys, you know, in all seriousness, played for Pat Smith, played for Jay Spoonhauer. These guys are tough, and they fit into your program well.
Well, we got you, Jonesy,
Yeah, right,
Moberly native.
One of us doesn't belong with the other ones I'm talking about.
No, you know what? We have 4 guys. You know, we talked about John. T.J. White's a young man who had signed with UMKC, and ultimately ended up coming here instead of going there. Dalen Robinson was an outstanding player for Moberly, and he went to Texas Tech for a year. He has 1 year remaining, so he's going to transfer here. And then Brennan Hughes is a guy who's from Moberly, played at Moberly High School, played at Moberly Junior College. You know, he's a guy that gives us a presence on the inside. A little banged up now, got some knee problems, but I think he'll be able to play as time goes on. I hope he'll get better.
Okay, we talk about the new group. What's impressed you the most about the new group? What concerns you the most as we now start the season?
Well, the impressive part, I think for the most part, we've worked hard. We've adjusted quicker than maybe some groups I've had before. We just haven't done as much stuff. We've got good shooters. They can shoot the basketball. I think my biggest concerns, and this is going to be a universal concern, I think with every program around the country, is defense and rebounding. The defense with the new rule emphasis, the rebounding just because of our size factor. We're not as big at the wings, and that kind of takes away from some of our rebounding.
Your teams have been built on toughness, hard-nosed defense. Now, you've adjusted to your groups over the years, but your teams have always gotten after teams defensively. The rules are very offensive in nature. How much is that going to change the way you think? Not only you play, but everybody plays this game.
Well, I think it's going to have a huge change. I think we'll see as time goes on. You know, the big deal is that we've talked about this before. You know, we're going to call all this hand checking, we're going to call the forearms, and we're going to do all this stuff. But then when it gets into December, January, February, it just goes back to the old way. But this time, I think they're serious, and I think that you're going to see a lot of fouls called early on. I think you'll see a lot of free throws. Hopefully, we're deep enough to adjust to that, and hopefully our guys will adjust to that too.
A lot of new guys. There's Dalen taking it to the cup and kicking it out to Dylan Deck, 6'9". Those are 2 key new additions.
Very key. You know, Dalen's a guy who makes things happen, and Dylan's a guy who was an all-conference player last year in the Great Lakes Valley Conference at William Jewell, and so he's definitely a guy who's got some experience.
There's Sean O'Brien, one of the 2 freshmen from Vianney, and there's Jordan Epps from Nixa. Young man, I think you're expecting to play quite a bit.
I am. He's really done a great job coming from Missouri Valley last year in an NAIA program and led the conference in scoring, was freshman of the year, and really has played well lately.
There's again a look at Dalen Robinson, played at Texas Tech. That'll help you when you head into these games with the D1s. There's Brad Woodson from Vianney, a freshman at 6'5", into Brennan Hughes, and then there's the 5A State Player of the Year, or 6A rather, Kyle Wolf. What a great get from out of Rockford.
Yeah, great kid, great potential. Shoots the ball well. Really knows how to play the game. I think that's going to be a big key. Now he's going to have to get comfortable, I think, for a while, but he's really a very, very good basketball player, just a tremendous young man.
6'6", knocking in that outside
He
jumper.
can do that with great regularity. He kind of gives you an option at the power forward.
And one guy I'm wanting to get a shot of here, but right there, Ryan Donald, 6'7", he's going to play.
Ryan's been a surprise. I don't want to say a great surprise, but he's come in and established himself, and he's a guy who can rebound, can score around the basket. I think he can be a good defender. And I'm not sure he understands yet that he can be a good defender, but he's got good athleticism. I think he can guard inside and outside.
And, of course, there's John Gillum out to Ryan. Again, 2 of the leaders. There's Joe Davis. There's Preston Bruns with the wet hair there in the middle. And, boy, if he does not remind me of Bryce Bruns to a T. Knock down the shots, play hard-nosed defense. He's a kid from out of Mankato, Minnesota, from in our region, Minnesota State. He's a Mule. He played at Kirkwood just like his brother, just like Derek Weber going back. A great pipeline there. Fred Dudley, a lot of guys from Kirkwood have come here. He will find a way to get on the floor.
Yeah, I think he is he's a tough kid. I think he's one kid that he came from Kirkwood. We elected to redshirt him last year. We felt like that would help him. We had a lot of guards coming back. He's one guy that's really taken advantage of his opportunity to get better during his redshirt year.
And we talk about all these guys that are going to step in and help. We had Meet the Mules and Jennies on Tuesday night, and we will preview that or take a look at that in just a few minutes. But 2 guys that impressed me, Sean O'Brien, this freshman from out of Vianney, he may need to put some weight on, but he's got great touch. And Brad Woodson from Vianney, he is a legit 6'5", and that's a 6'5" wing that can shoot. These kids could be really good players here for a long time.
Yeah, Sean just got to get more weight on him, and we're in the process. We think we'd like to redshirt him. We've talked about that early on. We're just going to have to see how these next couple games play out and how our injury situation goes. Woody's a shooter. Has got to get better defensively, as most high school kids do. But 2 outstanding players from a great program at Vianney.
2 D1 exhibitions, Friday at Mizzou, Monday at Austin Peay. Great learning opportunities. Also special games your guys will always remember.
Yeah, I think the opportunity to play in Mizzou Arena will be great for them. We're fortunate to be able to do that. This is the 3rd time we've done that in my tenure, and we've played there one other time in a tournament. So it's always special for them to be able to play in the arena. It'll be a tough game. Mizzou's a very good team. Got the chance to see them play last Friday against Oklahoma City. Very big. I think they have 8 players, 6'9" or bigger. So there's definitely a size advantage. But I think our guys are excited to be playing. We've been playing each other and beating up on each other. Now the chance to go play at Mizzou Arena, and then on Monday to go play at Austin Peay. We'll be on the bus a lot, but I think it'll be a great experience. And then we got to learn from that. We got to get better from learn from our mistakes and accentuate some of the positive things we do, because we play again a week later.
Let me tell you folks too, on Friday night there's Austin Peay. Monday night you can catch both those games on the UCM Sports Network. Friday night at Mizzou Arena, that's a 7:35 p.m. tip. $5 tickets available. Go to 1-800-CAT-PAWS or MUTigers.com to get tickets. There'll be a reception for UCM fans from 5 to 6:30 in the Sports Zone of the Holiday Inn Executive Center. Thanks to Ed and Kathy Baker, our great supporters there in Columbia, for hooking that up for our fans. And so that'll be a lot of fun, and hopefully a chance for folks to come. If not, Mizzou will have it at Mizzou Network .com as well. But yeah, it's just a fun opportunity, I think, for the guys. And I know you're wanting to get something out of it. The good news is, after you play Missouri and Austin Peay, let's be honest, you open with 2 very tough D2 games in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, November 9th and 10th, including a game with Augustana, who was in the NCAA tournament last year. So these games ought to really prepare you for that, the ones that count.
Well, I hope so. You know, again, you're playing Division I opponents who are many times bigger and stronger and oftentimes quicker than you. And I just hope that it demonstrates to our guys how hard you have to play to compete at this level. And then, like you said, then we jump right into it. We play Northern State, who's an outstanding Division II program, and then Augustana the day after that. So we got a tough early go here, but you know what? That's kind of the way I want it. I kind of want guys to get out there, and we need to learn about each other. We need to learn what we need to do to get better, and then we need to build on that, because, as I said, I think this is going to be a team that gets better as time goes on. And so we got to be ready to play every night we go out, and we got to continue to do a great job in practice, because that's our learning environment. That's when we get better.
Basketball season is here. Look forward to talking to you on the show.
All right, thanks, Sean.
See you at Missouri tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow night.
In just a moment here on Sports Page, we'll show you the sights and sounds from the tip-off event for Mules and Jennies basketball held this past Tuesday. We call it Meet the Mules and Jennies. You'll meet the Mules and Jennies next here on Sports Page.
Well, we're pretty excited. We've got a lot of key ingredients back from last year's 24-6 team. We're a team that's preseason ranked 8th in the country, which is very lofty, but with good reason. With Kiana Flax coming, you got one more year left, and we're very excited about the group we've got. Every year we're trying to win the MIAA conference, and if you win the MIAA conference, you get a great seed in the tournament, and absolutely lets you get into the region tournament. So we're definitely looking at the region tournament, the MIAA tournament, and hopefully beyond that.
The event was good. It's a good thing to let everybody see us play. It's a good thing to play here and let us see us play. And you know, we won all of our games last year here, so you know that's what we're trying to do. What's different from last year and this year's team? We have height now. We have a lot of seniors that know what they're supposed to do, and we have the younger girls that know what they're also supposed to do. And well, we let them know how our season was last year. They watched a couple of films, and they want what we want. And in practice, we push them just as hard as we push ourselves.
The team is shaping up very well. We have a lot of potential, so if we keep growing as a team and getting better and better, we'll be unstoppable by the end of the season. Personally, I want to get better on defense. With my knee last year, I know I'm going to be a little bit slower, so I'm really trying to stay down and try to stay in front of the person I'm guarding. I just really want to work on defense this year. This year's team, I feel like we're a little bit more athletic, and I feel like we are more hardworking than we were last year. I feel like we're going to be able to go the whole 40 minutes of every game, just sub in and out. All these girls we have a lot of passion on our team, and everyone wants to win, and I love that. So I'm really looking forward to how we push through the season. Yeah, we're definitely stressing on getting into the post more and pushing the ball more and pressuring on defense. So also press, because there's the 10-second rule this year, so it's a lot more intense, I feel like, and he's a lot more intense in pushing us harder and everything, so that's a good thing. I think that we're going to play really good. I think that we have a good group of girls that can keep our head on straight the whole season, and I know we all have one goal, and it's not hard to see that. So as long as we keep working towards that and remembering our goal, then we should do fine.
Well, I think you always start the season out. You want to try to win a championship if you can. I think this team has that capability, but they're not there yet. You know, we're a very, very inexperienced young team at this point. We have 10 new players. We have a long way to go, but we have a great work ethic, and you know, I think we have guys that we'll get better as the year goes on. We're still doing pretty much basically the same thing. You know, our biggest change, I think, has been with the new emphasis on the rules, on the hand checks. You know, we've tried to educate our guys how the game's going to be called. We've had officials come in and talk to them and referee scrimmages with them. I think that's probably the biggest change for me is trying to, you know, I've always been a guy that plays as hard as you can, gets after guys, play really aggressively. I think the way the game is going to be called, or the way the game they say it's going to be called, means that you got to back off a little bit. You got to be a little bit smarter in what you're doing defensively, especially on the perimeter. So I think that's been the biggest change for me.
This is beneficial to us for players and fans because, first of all, the fans get to see for the first time what we're going to be about this year. And for the players, it's an atmosphere above normal practice. Like, we have the band playing, the cheerleaders are here, the fans are making it loud in here, so it's kind of a step up from the practice atmosphere. We've got a bunch of new guys, some big, some small. We got our post players. We have Dylan Deck down low, who's just like a dump truck down there, big physical guy, and Ryan Donald, another post player who's really athletic, goes hard at the offensive glass, can finish above the rim, either hand, really good. Jordan Epps is a really good guard. He's from, I think, the Springfield area, and he's really good off of ball screens. And same thing with Dalen Robinson. He's going to be a point guard that's really good. He is a transfer from Texas Tech. He's really also good off ball screens and creating shots for other people.
You know, I think we got a bunch of young guys this year, including we got 4 seniors. And, you know, I think we just got to be tough at all times. We got to do little things to win games. We just got to have confidence, and we especially focus on the defensive end, I think, this year. We really got to hold opponents under, you know, 65 points. The offense will come, but I think defense is a big key for us on this team. You know, I think they're just like anything else. We're picked 3rd in the conference, which that's not something we want. You know, nobody wants to finish 3rd, and now, I mean, that for here at Central Missouri, that's not what we're about. So we're looking to finish at the top of the conference again, bring home another MIAA championship, and get to the national tournament again. And last year we lost in the first round. You know, it was a tough loss, and I was here for that especially, so I don't want to feel that again. I want this group of guys, you know, it's a tough group of guys. Everybody works hard. I feel like we have good chemistry so far, so I feel like this team is something special.
The Mules open the exhibition portion of their season Friday night, November 1st at Mizzou Arena and Norm Stewart Court against the Missouri Tigers. Tip-off is set for 7:35 p.m. You can buy $5 tickets to the game through mutigers.com or 1-800-CAT-PAWS. You can watch the game at MizzouNetwork.com, and we'll have the radio broadcast for you on 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and WarrensburgRadio.com. The 8th-ranked Jennies will host number 23 Minnesota State next Saturday, November 9th at 7 p.m. at the Multi to open their season. That game marks the first ever time the Jennies have hosted a top 25 showdown to start the season. In just a moment, we'll tell you where all the Mules and Jennies are competing this weekend. The Sports Page continues right after this. For one final time this week, welcome back to Sports Page. Before we put the finishing touches on yet another edition of the show, let's run down our upcoming schedule of events so you know where to follow the University of Central Missouri Mules and Jennies. And the Mules football team travels to Kearney, Nebraska this weekend for a Week 9 showdown with the UNK Lopers. Kickoff is set for 12 noon on Saturday from the heart of Nebraska and Cope Stadium Foster Field in Kearney. We'll have the broadcast on 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and via the internet at WarrensburgRadio.com. Coverage begins at 10:40 a.m. on Saturday. In other MIAA games this week, 14th-ranked Emporia State is at 12th-ranked Missouri Western. Lincoln is at Central Oklahoma. Southwest Baptist is at Northeastern State. Lindenwood is at Missouri Southern. 8th-ranked Washburn is at number 2-ranked Northwest Missouri. That's the MIAA TV game of the week. In non-conference action on Saturday, Northwestern Oklahoma is at 7th-ranked Pittsburgh State, and South Dakota Mines is at Fort Hays State. The 11th-ranked and MIAA champion Jennies soccer team travels to Maryville on Friday for a 3 p.m. match with Northwest Missouri. On Sunday, the Jennies wrap up the regular season in St. Charles, taking on Lindenwood at 3:30. Next Tuesday, that is November 5th, the Jennies will host an MIAA tournament first-round game. That's at 4 p.m. out at South Rec in Warrensburg, the opponent to be determined. And the number 5-ranked Jennies volleyball team travels to Bolivar on this week for a 7 p.m. match with SBU. That is Friday night. Then on Saturday, the Jennies will host Lindenwood at 3 p.m. in their first home match in a month. Then next Tuesday, the Jennies will host Northwest Missouri at 7 p.m. at Dr. Peggy Martin Court at the Multi. And the Mules basketball team will open and close the exhibition portion of their season Friday and Monday on the road. Friday, the Mules are at Mizzou Arena and Norm Stewart Court in Columbia to take on the Missouri Tigers. Tip-off is set for 7:35 p.m. UCM fans invited to a pregame reception from 5 to 6:30 p.m. in the Sports Zone at the Holiday Inn Executive Center in Columbia. Tickets to the game, $5 each. They can be purchased at mutigers.com and by calling 1-800-CAT-PAWS. You can watch the game via the internet at MizzouNetwork.com, or you can listen to our broadcast on the radio on 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and WarrensburgRadio.com beginning at 7:10 p.m. on Friday night. Monday night, the Mules are in Clarksville, Tennessee to take on the Austin Peay Governors. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Monday from the Dunn Center and Dave Luce Court. We'll have it on 98.5 The Bar and WarrensburgRadio.com beginning at 6:35 p.m. Monday night. Busy time of year for UCM sports, and that is it for another edition of Sports Page. We hope you enjoyed the show. Until next week, for our entire crew, this is Sean Jones saying thanks for watching the Central Missouri Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Support for Sports Page is provided by Union Station, Crossroads to Technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs, campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, Crossroads to Technology. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and WarrensburgRadio.com. 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and WarrensburgRadio.com, the radio home of UCM Athletics.